The aging process for a dokkan unit is one that all must go through when they release, whether it be an EZA, a Dokkan Fest LR, a TUR, a free-to-play unit, anything like that, right? One of the most important aspects of this unit's release is how well will it age, right? When we think about power creep, how immune to power creep is a unit, right? How well and how much utility can we get out of a specific unit within the game? You know, whether they get their EZA, how quickly will they age out and be useless, right? I think that's kind of one way to put it. How long will a unit have utility? What's going on, guys? My name is Vilify, and today we're going to be looking at 5 units, well 6, but a top 5 best aging units in Dokkan, right? We are not talking about units that are good on the 2022 power creep. However, we are talking about units that kind of lasted for a very long time. I'm not looking at specific time frames, just kind of thinking like a bigger picture, right? So let's go ahead and top into our number 5 spot, and that goes to AGL Super 17, more specifically with his EZA. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see this better. But what we have with AGL Super 17 is one of the 120% EZAs. I think what really makes this guy important is the fact that he was kind of the bar for how units would look, right? With these 120 EZAs, we saw a unit like Tech Super Saiyan 3 Broly, and we're thinking, oh boy, these 120% EZAs are going to be garbage and fodder. But then we see a unit like Super 17 come out, and he is just like head and shoulders, like, whoa, like this guy he's all defense, right? But what you have to remember is his utility is the fact that he just doesn't take damage, right? This is a guy who came out in 2020 and was more than usable in stages like Omega Shenron Red Zone, right? Now, I'm not going to look you dead in the face and be like, yeah, this guy's just going to absolutely tank Cell Max Super and all that, but I do know for a fact that this guy is usable in 99% of difficult content, and the fact that he has kind of aged really well to the point where we're at 2022, almost 2023, and this guy could still be a mainstay on a team like Androids, Inhuman Deeds, Target Goku, Artificial Life Form. Basically every team that he's on, he is usable, right? Like he is a B to A tier option. I would say S. He's probably like Target Goku GT bosses. I'd say he's S tier, but like on some of these other teams, he's not. But this is one of these guys that EZA'd in 2020 and is still usable here in almost 2023. So I would say he's definitely earned that spot of the number 5 spot. Let's go ahead and move into number 4, and now we have 2 of the same units at the same time here. We have the EZAs for both of the Golden Friezas. To kind of quickly sum this up, they have a little thing called damage reduction. And when you have 80% damage reduction at any point based on HP at least, you're not really going to age. It's really tough when, say a boss, I'm sorry, I misclicked, but say a boss is doing 400k on super, right? That 80% damage reduction or that 90% damage reduction, it's just going to negate that, right? If the unit does 1.5 million on the super, that 90% damage reduction, you're only doing 150k, right? Like there's just no situation where 90% damage reduction cannot be useful. Now, these guys, admittedly, they're like the opposite of a glass cannon, right? Where usually you think of a unit that has weak defense. This guy is like, they have really, or all offense, no defense, but these guys are all defense, no offense. So they're brick walls, but behind the layer of bricks. So if you pierce through a brick, the whole thing just falls through, right? Because when you lose that HP with the damage reduction, these guys just become very, very susceptible to taking damage, right? So that is one reason they are not the number 1 and number 2 units on the spot. So I'm going to have them at number 4. But, the damage reduction itself speaks for itself, right? There's just very few instances where you cannot get utility out of these guys before and after their EZAs, right? And one thing we really got to look at is the amount of teams these bad boys are on, right? Like, look at all these. Resurrected Warriors, Movie Bosses, Full Power, Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Revenge, Inhuman Deeds, Gifted Warriors, Planetary Destruction, Mastered Evolution, Sworn Enemies, and Battle of Fate. That is a mouthful. Let's go ahead and look. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think it's 15 categories, 14 or 15. I don't want to waste your time too much with that, but they just have so many teams that they're on, right? So these guys, really can't age out that well with the damage reduction that they have, unless bosses start hitting for, 5 million, and then, these guys end up taking 1 million on super attacks. It's just going to be really tough for these guys to age out. So let's go ahead and move on to our number 3 spot. Coming in at number 3, we have STR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Now, this guy is a little bit tricky. He does have that 80% damage reduction, just like the Golden Friezas have, but however, this one being HP based, it is more of just, it's turn based. But the beauty of this guy's damage reduction is, in 2022, aside from events that you shouldn't bring this guy in anyway, where are you going to turn 10? It's not in ESBR. It's not in the, it's not in Red Zone, usually. It's not in Cell Max, because Cell Max, it's like, if you guys are not very familiar with Cell Max, it's like you just get to turn 5 or you get to that last phase, and it's either you win or you don't, right? There's really no in between where you could like get lucky by the skin of your teeth. You need an extreme amount of RNG to get that to play out in your favor, right? So this guy really, like I said, that 80% damage reduction for 10 turns is really usable in all of the difficult content. And you think of stages that you bring him on, right? We have a Super Saiyan 3 Extreme Super Battle Road. We have a Vegeta family, a Pure Saiyans. We have a bunch of these categories have, Extreme Super Battle Road stages and stuff like that. And, these are also some mainstay teams. We're talking about Pure Saiyans. We're talking about Vegeta family, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Bond of Parent and Child. These are teams that, have really good leaders and are very power crept to today's meta. And this guy can just slide right in and be that defensive wall that you need. And just the way he's kind of aged, right? He came out in November of 2018 for his EZA. In 16 days, this guy will be 4 years old, and he is still runnable to today. So, you really have to think about these things. When a unit has been able to be usable for 4 years in a game like this, that's more than half of the game's life cycle at this point, right? Because we're just a little bit under 8 years at this point. But you guys can see right here, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta comes in at my number 3 spot. Coming in at number 2, we have Int Janemba. Now, this guy's EZA was crazy. This is one where they know they messed up, in my opinion. Guard activated against all attacks, medium chance of evading the attack. This guy's defense is just so good. His EZA is coming up on 4 years. And this guy, he has aged out a bit, and especially with the physical LR Janemba being a thing and some other units on the teams that he's on, he's just been replaced. But this is a guy that was usable for about 2.5 to 3 years, I'd say. And really just had he set the mold, right? Where you're thinking, you want the new Dokkan Fest TUR to be the best TUR in the game, but you run into an issue where you drop a new TUR and you could easily say they're not as good as Janemba, right? So I would say that this guy, is just the way that he aged in his span, it took a lot of power creep for this guy to not be useful. He's not on very many teams, but he was just an absolute mainstay on the teams that he was on, right? We're talking about movie bosses and transformation boosts being his only teams for a very long time until Corroded Body and Mind, I want to say, came out with Tech Janemba. Let me pull that up while we're here, just to make sure I'm not tripping here. Yeah, Tech Janemba, right? And he was on 2 teams for a really long time, but when you ran him on this movie boss's team and the transformation boost team, and the transformation boost team, by the way, was one of those just stupid easy modes back, especially during the 5 to 6 year anniversary transition, where we're talking about you run STR Cooler as a lead, you bring the 5-year LRs, and then you kind of float Cooler as a support for those guys, and you just kind of make them go burr. You make them look really good. This is where this Janemba also kind of came in as a nice floater. I always like to say when I'm doing content like Vegeta event runs, a lot of the times the guys this guy right here, his job is to look pretty and not die, right? And that is exactly what you're looking at with this guy, with guard, decent attack stats, an evasion chance, and defensively, offensively, he's just going to hold his own as a floater. It took a very long time for this guy to straight up be replaced, I'd say, on a lot of the teams that he was on. So without further ado, I think you guys already know what the number 1 spot's going to be. He's a bad boy, right? There's a lot to say about this bad boy. Ultimate Gohan, my boy Minato, he knows exactly why. I'd say he did. He could give a much better argument than I could. But what is there to say about Tech Ultimate Gohan that hasn't already been said? Guard, when I say they know they messed up with Janemba, they know they messed up with this Gohan. Defensively, he is just still a wall. In 2022, there's, you can get caught with Tech Ultimate Gohan. Let's not act like he's invincible, but on the teams he is on, his guard mechanic, his defensive stacking, he is the epitome of the turtle mode team, where you start out real slow, stack him up. We're talking, by turn 9, we're talking 700 to 800k defense with guard. We have a chance to be super effective against all types when we're in the Ultimate Gohan mode. We're spitting out a 7 million attack stat with a chance to be super effective against all types. We got an okay leader skill. We got the hybrid Saiyans. It's not a 200%, so it kind of sucks by default now, but greatly raising attack and defense with the ability to stack. This guy is just, the way they messed up with this guy is just insane, right? You just know. They know they messed up. It's not because, he was the best unit in the game. It's because it's the little things, right? Where they messed up, this right here. Notice how they just don't do that anymore. Guard all attacks just is not a thing. It's whether they're in slot 1, whether the enemy is in attack down status. It's for 5 turns. It's above a certain HP threshold. It's a medium chance. It's never just you guard unconditionally. And you want to know why? It's because this dude. They know that if they give a unit like 90% damage reduction, or they give him this guaranteed guard against all attacks, they are just not going to age out. It doesn't encourage summoning. It just doesn't let, like, it's like, why would I summon for a new Ultimate Gohan when I have this guy, right? And, you know, before you know it, this guy's going to be 3 years old, right? And then all of a sudden, we reach that 3-year territory, and it's like, oh no, he could easy A, right? Like, it would not surprise me if Dokkan is just like, you know, we messed up with this guy, we're just not going to easy A him, right? I mean, you know, obviously they won't do that, but, yeah, it's like, am I crazy to say that it's not out of the realm of possibilities for them to just be like, this guy's too good? I feel like it's not the, you know, the craziest thing to say, but here are some units. Like I said, this was the list. Let me know what you guys think down below. Here are 5 units, or 6 units, but some of the best aging units within Dokkan at the moment, in my opinion. There's a lot to talk about with how units aged well. If you want to see a video, I'm sorry, I messed that up. But go to look at the video for worst aging units over on the 5-9 mobile channel. Oh, on the 5-9 mobile channel. Having trouble getting my words out, but that is, like I said, that's all I got for you today. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out when I do any Dokkan content like this. Have a great day, everybody. I'm out.